The Great Reset is an ambitious initiative launched in June 2020 by Professor Klaus Schwab of the World Economic Forum and King Charles III. This initiative seeks to address the multifaceted challenges that our world faces today, from economic disparities to environmental degradation. It emerged as a response to the COVID-19 pandemic, aiming to reshape our world for a more sustainable and equitable future. The pandemic exposed the fragility of our current systems, highlighting the urgent need for a comprehensive overhaul. The initiative calls for a profound re-evaluation of our systems, using the crisis as a chance to build back better. This means not just recovering from the pandemic, but fundamentally transforming our economic, social, and environmental frameworks. The World Economic Forum, known for its annual Davos summits, is the primary engine behind the Great Reset. These summits serve as a global platform where leaders from various sectors come together to discuss and strategize on implementing the initiative's goals. These gatherings bring together influential figures to discuss and promote the initiative's ideas. Business leaders, policymakers, and academics collaborate to create actionable plans that can drive systemic change. The scope of the Great Reset is broad, touching on education, social contracts, and the nature of work. It envisions a world where education is more accessible, social contracts are redefined to be more inclusive, and work environments are more adaptable to future needs. The ambition is to create a resilient global system, better equipped to handle future shocks. This includes strengthening supply chains, improving disaster response mechanisms, and fostering innovation through diverse collaborations. It's a call for systemic change, aiming for a new equilibrium that balances economic progress with social well-being and environmental health. The Great Reset aspires to create a world where prosperity is shared and the planet is protected for future generations. The Great Reset was profoundly shaped by the COVID-19 pandemic, which swept across the globe with unprecedented speed and impact. This global health crisis triggered a severe economic downturn affecting every sector and industry. Businesses shuttered and economies ground to a halt, leading to widespread financial instability. The pandemic highlighted the fragility of our interconnected systems, from global trade networks to local supply chains. Supermarket shelves were emptied and essential goods became scarce, revealing the vulnerabilities in our logistics and distribution frameworks. This unprecedented situation made many question the sustainability of old ways. As industries paused, nature began to reclaim urban areas, offering a glimpse of what a more balanced coexistence could look like. Economic instability and social inequalities became more pronounced, exposing systemic frailties. The pandemic laid bare the stark disparities in income and access to resources, prompting widespread calls for social justice and reform. In response, governments around the world rolled out massive fiscal stimulus packages to support their economies and citizens. These measures included direct financial aid, loans, and other forms of economic relief. However, these interventions led to unprecedented levels of global debt. Stock markets fluctuated wildly, and national debt clocks ticked ever higher, raising concerns about long-term financial stability. The pandemic was framed as a critical wake-up call, emphasizing the need for robust healthcare systems and preparedness for future crises. The rapid development and distribution of vaccines showcased human ingenuity and the power of global collaboration. It exposed vulnerabilities and created an opening for large-scale transformation. From crumbling infrastructure to the urgent need for renewable energy and digital transformation, the crisis highlighted areas ripe for innovation and improvement. The shared global experience of the pandemic fostered a collective will to build a more resilient, equitable, and sustainable future. Communities came together to rebuild, innovate, and support one another in unprecedented ways. The argument was that the crisis necessitated an ambitious response. Political leaders, activists, and innovators all recognized the need for bold action to address the challenges laid bare by the pandemic. The sense of urgency and shared crisis became the primary impetus for promoting the comprehensive reforms envisioned by the Great Reset. Urgent meetings and global conferences focused on economic reform and systemic change. The initiative aims to address deep-seated structural issues and build a better future. By leveraging this moment of crisis, the Great Reset seeks to create a world that is more just, sustainable, and resilient for generations to come. A central pillar of the Great Reset is the pursuit of fairer economic outcomes. The initiative calls for enhanced coordination among governments on tax policies, regulatory frameworks, and fiscal policies. Stakeholder capitalism is promoted, where businesses create value for all stakeholders, not just shareholders. Specific reforms include wealth taxes and phasing out fossil fuel subsidies. Redirecting funds to green technologies and sustainable infrastructure is a key focus. The goal is to build societies that are more resilient, inclusive, and just. By reducing disparities in wealth and opportunity, the initiative aims to foster greater social cohesion and political stability. The ambition is to create an economy that works for everyone and operates within ecological limits. The second core objective of the Great Reset is making strategic investments for shared societal goals. Public investments can act as catalysts for positive change, focusing on long-term objectives like environmental protection and social inclusion. Examples include the European Commission's Next Generation EU Fund, promoting climate action and digital transformation. The initiative advocates for investments in green urban infrastructure and incentivizing industries to improve their ESG metrics. The vision is to create a robust, equitable, and environmentally sound global economy. These investments aim to build resilience against future shocks and ensure prosperity is sustainable and shared. The third pillar of the Great Reset involves harnessing the fourth industrial revolution for the public good. Technologies like AI, biotechnology, and quantum computing should address global challenges, not exacerbate inequalities. The pandemic highlighted the potential of these technologies, especially in healthcare. The initiative emphasizes investing in diagnostics, therapeutics, and vaccines to strengthen public health systems. Beyond healthcare, digital tools can address challenges in education, financial inclusion, and sustainable agriculture. Ethical considerations, data privacy, and equitable access are critical. The goal is to create smarter, more efficient, and equitable systems. Proactive strategies for reskilling and upskilling are needed to address the impact of automation on employment. The fourth pillar of the Great Reset is the necessity of global cooperation. Complex challenges like pandemics and climate change require collaborative efforts. The initiative calls for deeper partnerships across all sectors of society. Governments, international organizations, the private sector, civil society, and academia must work together. The World Economic Forum's COVID Action Platform is an example of multi-stakeholder collaboration. The platform facilitated sharing information and resources to combat the virus. Global challenges require shared responsibility and collective action. The Great Reset argues that cooperation is essential for global stability, security, and prosperity. Working together is the only way to navigate the complexities of the 21st century successfully. Looking ahead to 2030, the World Economic Forum has made several predictions aligned with the Great Reset. These projections aim to reshape our world in profound ways, touching on various aspects of our daily lives and global systems. One prediction is that all products will become services, shifting away from individual ownership. This means that instead of owning cars, homes, or even appliances, people will subscribe to services that provide these necessities. This model could lead to more efficient resource use and reduced waste. By sharing resources, we can minimize the environmental impact and promote sustainability. However, it also raises concerns about personal autonomy and dependence on service providers. People might feel restricted by the lack of ownership and the constant need to rely on external entities for their daily needs. The WEF also anticipates significant geopolitical shifts, with a multipolar world order emerging. This new order could see power distributed more evenly across various nations, reducing the dominance of any single country. This would have profound implications for international relations and trade. Countries will need to navigate new alliances and partnerships, adapting to a more interconnected and interdependent global economy. Lifestyle changes such as reduced meat consumption and alternative protein sources are also predicted. These changes are driven by the need to address climate change and promote healthier living. The WF envisions human missions to Mars by the 2030s, pushing the boundaries of exploration. This ambitious goal reflects humanity's enduring quest to explore new frontiers and expand our horizons. These predictions reflect the transformative vision of the Great Reset. They highlight the potential for innovation and collaboration to create a better future. The initiative aims to create a more sustainable and equitable future. By embracing renewable energy and sustainable practices, we can build communities that thrive in harmony with the environment. The path ahead requires careful navigation and inclusive dialogue. It is essential for all stakeholders to come together, share ideas, and work collaboratively to achieve these ambitious goals. The Great Reset has faced legitimate criticisms and concerns. Some argue that rapid environmental policies could harm economic growth and lead to job losses. Concerns about democratic accountability and the concentration of influence have been raised. Technological advancements spark anxieties about civil liberties and privacy. Conspiracy theories have distorted the Great Reset, alleging a plot by a global elite. The WEF calls for rational, fact-based debate about the genuine challenges and opportunities. Recent developments align with some principles of the Great Reset. Large-scale public investment programs focus on sustainable infrastructure and social equity. ESG criteria are increasingly integrated into corporate strategies. Technological innovation in healthcare continues to accelerate. Trends like housing as a service are beginning to manifest. The Great Reset remains a significant framework for discussing global development. Core tenets continue to fuel debate and inspire policy discussions. The path ahead requires careful navigation and inclusive dialogue.